Jake here for American Trucks, and in this video I'm taking a look at the Morimoto XB LED headlights with black housings and clear lenses fitting 2020 and newer Silverado 2500 and 3500. If you are looking for the ultimate upgrade to your Silverado's headlights, look no further than these XBs from Morimoto. They combine all of the best tech in a sleek, stylish package that's going to turn heads and show the road ahead in the absolute best possible light. Now, I promise they're not paying me to say this, I just like their stuff, because when it comes to automotive lighting, you really can't go wrong with anything that Morimoto sells. They spend a lot of time and effort developing their products, and it shows from the moment that you take them out of the box. I'm always excited and impressed when I get to handle a set of their lights, frankly, because they're always good. The XB series headlights in particular are standouts in their construction and their lighting output. Now, the first thing you'll notice about these is the clean, modern design. You get LED strips around the outer edges, both on the top and the bottom here, and you've got these 3 Ice Cube LED projectors in the bottom section. And that all really makes a statement, and I do think that these work really well with the new Silverado's edgy styling. They have a very OEM type of look to them, and you'd almost be forgiven for thinking that these were a factory option once they're mounted up on the truck. And unlike a lot of other aftermarket headlights, these are going to vastly outperform your factory headlights, specifically the halogen ones. Needless to say, they are very bright. You get 1,790 lux from the low beams compared to 426 from the OEM halogen low beams. So that's a huge improvement. Same is true for the high beams, 1,840 lux for these guys versus 1,060 for your stockers. So these are basically the undisputed category king when it comes to headlight upgrades for the Silverado, especially considering that output. Now, those 3 Ice Cube LEDs that we have down here in the lower section pull double duty as both your low and high beams, and they provide you with a really clean, crisp white light to cast down the road. It's going to have a much cleaner, sharper cutoff than your factory halogens especially, and it's going to light up a lot more of the environment for you, making it both easier and safer for you to drive at night, on top of them just looking cool in the daytime. Now, adding to the aesthetics here, we have those LED strips that I mentioned earlier. You get one on the inside edge of the lower section down here, and you get a matching one up top. And these are going to light up a bright white, and they're going to function as your daytime running lights as well. So these will automatically dim when your headlights get switched on too, so they don't impede lighting function or output at night. Now, this upper section here also hides the sequential LED turn signals, which are going to be right here in the middle. So that center section is going to light up amber for your signals. And these are also sequential, so they will just run all the way out and back, which I think is pretty cool. I just happen to like sequential turn signals, but if you don't, good news is you can set these to just a full on, full off for a little bit more subtlety. And it's rather easy to change should you decide that you want to switch it up. These are also still fully compliant, so they meet or exceed all SAE, DOT, and FMV SS108 standards, and that means they have integrated adjusters on the back to get everything aimed properly. And that brings us nicely to the construction. Now, construction here is first rate, as we usually expect with all of Morimoto's stuff. You've got ABS comprising the housings with UV resistant polycarbonate lenses. With the black housings and all those LEDs inside, these are going to look and perform great, and will continue to do so for years to come. And those main beams we were talking about use Morimoto's proprietary Korea Optic Bi LEDs, and you've got Osram 5000K LEDs for the LED strips. So again, these are super bright and they're going to last a long time. Now, inside of the housings, the things that you can't see are die-cast aluminum heat sinks. They're going to help keep everything cool and working well. Now, these are also designed to be plug and play, so there's going to be no hyper flashing, flickering, error codes, or radio interference. And like I mentioned earlier, you've got your integrated adjusters on the back too. However, as you might expect, given all of what we just covered, these do not come cheap. This set is going to run you about $2,000, and that makes them one of the most expensive in the category. But as with many things, you get what you pay for here, and the quality, the functionality, and that lighting output I think really speak for themselves. So while they are expensive, yes, you are getting a great package and lights that are going to look good and they're going to last you a long time. Installation comes in at a 1 out of 3 on our difficulty meter and should take you about 1 hour to complete. Now, like I mentioned a moment ago, these are designed to be totally plug and play right out of the box. So everything is going to plug in. You don't have to do any wiring necessarily. You are going to have to run this included wiring with a fuse tap already wired in for you. Just going to plug it into one headlight, plug it in together, and then plug it into your fuse block there, and we'll show you how to do that shortly. But anyway, there's no clipping, no stripping, no any kind of wiring that you really need to do. Just plug these in, they're going to bolt right in place, put your grill back on, and you're ready to go. So with that, let's go out to the install bay now, and we'll walk you through that entire process.
For this install, you'll need a 3/8 ratchet, a 1/4 inch ratchet, a 3/8 extension, a 7 and a 10mm socket, a T15 and a T20 socket, needle nose pliers, and a clip removal tool. All right, today we're gonna install some headlights on our Silverado, but first we gotta uninstall the stock ones and then we'll install the new ones. All right, what we need to do is we need to release our handle for our hood release. There are 2 T15 screws, so we're gonna grab a ratchet and a socket and take them out. All right, slide the handle off and put it aside. All right, now we have to get our plastic radiator cover out of the way. There are 9 push clips that go all the way around. So I'm gonna grab our clip removal tool. All right, now that all the clips are up, we're just gonna lift straight up and put this aside. All right, now we're gonna go into the wheel well and pull back our liner. There are 6 T15 screws holding it in, also 1 push clip at the top. All right, and now we just have our push clip at the top of the wheel liner. All right, now we're just gonna take our wheel liner and just fold it back behind our tire. All right, now we just need to carefully pull our trim back to about here just to access our 7mm bolt that's underneath. All right, now we're just gonna grab our ratchet and take our 7mm bolt out. All right, now what we're gonna do here is we are going to take our painted trim piece off. What we're gonna do is we're gonna start here, work our way up, and then we'll come on the other side and pull the other side out of its locking pins. All right, now we can just repeat that same process for the other side. All right, now to remove our front grille, we need to take our 4 10mm bolts out of the top of the grille. All right, now we're gonna come to the lower part of the grille and take a 10mm bolt out of the bottom. You just do the same thing on the other side. All right, now to take our front grille off, first thing we need to do is lift up gently on the top, release it out of its locking tabs, and then we'll work our way down, releasing all of the tabs that hold it in. All right, we're gonna remove our stock headlight. There are 6 10mm bolts holding it in, 2 up top, 2 on the inside, and 2 on the outside. All right, now to release our headlight, we're just gonna lift up gently, and on this tab right here, that's just a little locking tab that locks it in place, and twist it out. Now to release the tab, just gonna pull back on the red locking tab, push down the clip and pull it back. All right, now we can repeat the same process for the other side. All right, to get our new headlights ready, we just need to swap over a few brackets. We have our 2 plastic brackets here and our 1 at the bottom. We're just gonna grab our ratchet with our T20 socket and switch them over. All right, now before we put the headlights in, we just need to install our supplied wiring harness. So what we need to do with that is we need to tap into our fuse box and then run the wires along the front. All right, now we're just gonna take our fuse box cover off. We're gonna push these 2 tabs in, lift straight up. Now the fuse we're going to be taking out is our 4D fuse. It's a 10 amp fuse. So we're going to grab our needle nose pliers, take it out. We're going to take our wiring harness and just plug it in that same spot you took that out. Run that along the side and put your cover back on. All right, now when running the wiring harness, you'll see that there's a shorter side and a longer side. This shorter side would be for the driver's side, longer side would be for the passenger side to run along the front. We're gonna start with the driver's side. We're gonna take our harness and run it in front of the washer bottle so it'll come out in this hole. And then you just take the other wiring harness and run it along the front. All right, now you can clean up the wiring however you want. Just zip tie it out of the way, make sure it's not gonna touch anything hot. Just for example, we're gonna come up here, take our spare wire, grab a zip tie, and lock this spare into place. You can do the same thing for the front wire that runs along the front of the car. All right, we're now ready to install our headlights. You just gotta plug in our connectors. One quick option for this headlight, there's a connector that's already plugged in. That is your option if you want a sequential or non-sequential turn signal. Keep it plugged in, you get sequential. If you unplug it, it's a non-sequential turn signal. So we're gonna start by plugging our little harness in. And we're gonna plug in our main harness. Make sure you lock that tab down. Now do the same thing for the other headlight. All right, we now reinstall our headlight and our 6 10mm bolts that we took out. All right, now you just repeat that same process for the other headlight. All right, we can now reinstall our grille. Just gonna slide it over the bottom, slide over the headlight, and just lock all of the tabs into place. And now we can reinstall our 6 10mm bolts that we took out. All right, we're gonna start at the bottom. All right, you can do the same thing on the other side. All right, now we can install the 4 along the top. All right, while we're here, we'll reinstall our plastic radiator cover. Slide that into place, and then reinstall our 9 plastic push pins that we took out. All right, now we can put our handle for our hood release back on. Grab our ratchet with our T15 socket and reinstall our 2 screws. All right, we're gonna put our plastic trim back in. Start by sliding in at the bottom here. Pulling our black trim back a little bit. And then locking it in place. All right, we're gonna put our 7mm screw that we took out. And we can snap our trim back into place. All right, we just need to get our wheel liner back in place so we can install our 6 screws and 1 push pin that we took out. All right, we're gonna put our plastic push pin back in. And then grab our ratchet with our T15 socket and install our 6 screws. All right, now you just repeat that same process on the other side.
That's going to wrap it up here for our review and install of the Morimoto XB LED headlights with black housings and clear lenses, fitting 2020 and newer Silverado 2500 and 3500s. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, for all things Silverado, be sure to keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.